What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode with Ski and Rob. Um, NBA has been treating me nice lately. I've had 9 winning days out of the last 11. Yesterday was a pretty big day, $2 Tuesday cash. So I appreciate everybody who trusted me and followed me there. And let's try to keep it going here today. Rob, how's everything treating you? I know college has been on fire. Yeah, how's everything been for you lately?
Yeah, college is good, Ski. There's no question about it. Look forward to this week. Obviously, it's jam packed, all kinds of conference tournaments heading our way already. A couple of games in the books for today. NBA last night, the game breaker or the profit breaker last night was I had Brooklyn Nets over 118 and a half. And they had 115 with about 3:30 left in the game and wound up on 118. And that caused it to be a break even rather than a big profit. But NBA, along with college, NBA last 4 days has been 11-5. No, 10-4, excuse me, 10-4. So, pretty good in NBA right now, too. But the college has been real good all season long.
Hey, good stuff. Let's keep it going. Let's heat up and let's keep riding it into the playoffs and into March Madness. If you guys have questions on Twitter, we're live on YouTube. We can see the comment section here. We'll do our best to answer or get to you guys' questions. And if you guys have plays that you guys like, share them, and we'll let the people know. We know you guys have some good angles as well. So let's start top of the board, 549, 550. Atlanta Hawks heading into Washington to face the Wizards. This game open -3.5. We're still looking at it's between 3 and 4, actually. I see a 3 at DraftKings, a 4 at WinBet. Total open 233.5, and it's as high as 236 right now. Injury report for both of these teams, and I think the Hawks was clean. Yeah, they're clean. And for the Wizards, Monte Morris is game time decision, but I think he's going to be back in the lineup today. So both teams should be fairly healthy. Rob, when I look at the Hawks as a favorite, I can't help but think it's got to be an over game just because I know they don't play any defense. Last 2 weeks, they're allowing 120.5 points per game, and they're still the second best offensive rated team post All-Star. So it's either got to be Hawks team total over, full game over. Only ways I can look for two teams who are bottom 10 defensive rated teams post All-Star. How do you feel?
Well, I think where total is concerned, Ski, you can throw first quarter over because the Wizards have been the best first quarter over team in the NBA this year. I cashed a ticket with that last night in a game against Detroit where Detroit was missing 7 players and the total was 54.5, I think, in the first quarter. And it still made it over. It got to 55, I think, barely made it, but it did make it. So Washington first quarter continues to be really profitable. So I would add that to the list of ways to play the total. I will side with you because I bet total earlier today on the assumption, Ski, that the Wizards wouldn't rest Kyle Kuzma in the second of back-to-backs. You know, he was on the injury report all day yesterday. He did go. And I didn't see, it takes a while for them to submit their injury report for the next day, but I haven't seen Kuzma's name pop up as a potential sit. I think a lot of the reason is there's only one game that separates these two teams in the playoff standings. Atlanta's one game ahead of Washington. So Atlanta blew a huge opportunity in Miami the 2 games prior. And now they face another division opponent, Washington, who they're only a game ahead of in the standings. So I think it's a game where you'll find focus. And maybe if you're looking for reasons to not bet full game over, you might say that. If it's close, a one-possession game with 3-4 minutes left, maybe things tighten up. But nothing ever seems to tighten up with the Hawks, Ski. Not their defense, not their offense. So I'm not really scared of it. I'm with you. I can't talk anybody off an angle where they're going to play the over tonight, whether it be first quarter, either team total, whether it be full game, halftime. Take your choice. I happen to prefer first quarter and full game.
All right, we're in alignment there. We would expect more points than not. You just think it'll be earlier in the game. Let's keep going down the list. We have 551, 552. Cleveland Cavaliers going into Miami to face the Heat. Game open. Cavs -1.5. They're now 2.5 for a 2-point favorite. Total open 212. And it's as high as 215 right now. Some people liking more points in this one. Injury report is clean for Cleveland. Kevin Love is game time decision for the Heat, and they will be without Kyle Lowry. When I think about this one, Rob, um, a couple different things. I was talking to Jay Money and hearing him talk, and I agree with his thought that the Cavs are just on a different level than this Miami team. I know the Cavs haven't been good all year on the road, but as inconsistent as Miami has been, I would lean towards taking the Cavs here. But I think the under is probably a better play. 4 of the last 5 times these teams have played each other, they've went under with their games averaging about 202.8. They're both bottom 10 in pace post All Star, and Cleveland still top 10 defensive rated team in that same span. So I like this one. I disagree with the market. Market's pushing it up 3 points to 215. I think it stays under the original number of 212. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it would push up ski. I'll say this, and I didn't play the game, but this was my thought process. I thought Miami did their work in the 2-game series against Atlanta. Atlanta was breathing down their neck. Miami at home won 2 games. Jimmy Butler played in both of them. He played really well in both of them, and they gained some separation. Now, when you take a look at the standings, they're sitting in the top play-in spot, the number 7 hole, 2.5 games now ahead of Atlanta. There's some breathing room. And my initial thought process was, again, Miami did their work, and maybe there's a little bit of sigh of relief here with Cleveland coming in. And I don't think Cleveland at any point in time is going to take a breather, so to speak. I think Cleveland's in full pursuit of hanging on to that 4 spot. To me, out of the teams that trail them themselves, New York, Brooklyn, Cleveland really needs, or let me put it this way, Ski, let me say this. Cleveland wants to be treated as an elite since they got Donovan Mitchell, right? I think they feel like their team can compete in the playoffs against any of the 3 above them. But in order to do that, they need home floor. So my idea on them is they're going to play hard every game to hang on to 4 and not let the Knicks go by them. The Knicks loss last night was a gift. So, like I say, my initial thought was Cleveland. I just don't trust it enough. I could see people playing under here because Cleveland defensive minded, Miami slow possession, and sometimes erratic shooting. I get all of that, so I wouldn't talk you off. I just didn't get myself. I didn't talk myself into playing yet. Maybe I'm doing it here. I'm not sure, but I didn't do it yet.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Cavaliers definitely want to hang on to home court advantage. We all know they play better at the house. So for the playoffs, I think that's a big deal. And Miami, still fighting, trying to move up spots, etc. as well. So because of that, I think they bring even more effort on the defensive end. And I like that play on the under for myself. Let's keep going here, Rob. We have 5 more games. Let's see how many we can touch in the time we have left. And Isaac, I appreciate you said Ski do these every day, bro. Soon I am going to be doing videos every day. I really was trying to wait closer to when baseball starts, just so we can have more to talk about each day. And because I'm just excited for baseball, so they're coming. There will be more of these shows on a daily basis. Next game up, we have 5:53, 5:54, Portland and Boston. Open, Boston -10. Still see 10 or 10.5. Total open 232. And it's dropped a little bit to 229.5 or 230. Injury report for the Blazers. I see Nurkic game time decision here. Archie out, Baji out, Simons out, Winslow out. For the Celtics, Peyton Pritchard game time, Gallinari out, Time Lord out. So, and I just talked this one. This is another one I just talked about with Jay too. How I feel about this is Celtics been playing really inconsistent, or not inconsistent, but they just haven't been playing their best basketball lately. They've been playing some really tough games, back-to-back overtime games to be specific. So I just don't like what I'm seeing from their side, especially to come in here and lay 10 points. I just feel like for a Portland team who's probably a little bit more who is in a more desperate situation, if they want to get into these playoffs, they need to start winning some of these games. So versus a Boston team who's not playing that much defense right now, I don't think it'll matter that Portland hasn't been getting stops. They'll be able to outscore Boston and probably keep this one close. So 10 points is just a little bit too much to lay with the way Boston has been lately, just my opinion. But I think the better bet is the over. I thought about Portland team total over, just because Boston's allowing 118.7 the last 2 weeks. Portland is averaging 115. You only have to get over 110.5 for that bet. But I just thought Boston could probably be able to contribute. I mean, Portland's defense is not good either. They're allowing 120 plus the last 2 weeks. So typed into the database double digit home favorites off back to back overtime games. There have been 10 games since 2007. There are 7-3 to the over. I think this one will be another over game. Do you agree, Rob?
Yeah, it was the first bet I made today, Ski. It wasn't the full game over, but it was the Boston team total over 120 at home, where they shoot it so much better. I think we've documented that a bunch as of late. When they're at home, shots just fall. And Portland's on a back-to-back after playing Detroit yesterday, a team that can't do anything offensively. They still gave up 104 to the Pistons. Like I say, a team that was missing 7 guys. So my initial reaction was I thought this thing would maybe be about 123. It wasn't 120. It caught my eye. I played it immediately. I'm not going to argue anybody or talk anybody off of full game total, because that's what Portland does, right? I mean, they score and they allow, and Boston at home scores. And I don't think Boston cares all that much on the defensive end, to tell you the truth, Ski, from what I've seen lately. Maybe partial of what Jay and you were alluding to when you talked with him is the Boston not playing their best basketball. Part of that might be defensively, because that's what I see. And when you take Robert Williams out of there, it just makes a difference. Now, the other night, it was Horford and Williams out, so rim protection is going to be light. But Joe Mazzulla just plays a different brand of basketball as the head coach. There's no question about it. Boston's not the same looking team, regular season-wise at least, as far as how they go about it, their style. So I'm on Boston over 120. I keep it simple as that.
Fair enough. Let's keep going down this list here. We have 555, 556, Dallas and New Orleans. Game open, Mavericks -2. We see them 2.5 point favorites now. Total open 231.5. And it is up to 234. Injury report. For Dallas, I see Reggie Bullock, game time decision. Maxi Kleber has been announced out. JaVale McGee out for the Pelicans. Jose Alvarado out. Liddell out. Larry Nance out. Zion out. So, how I thought about this one, I feel like this is a game that's really important as well, Rob. I mean, this is a Dallas team who's in the 5th seed, but seeds 5 through 8 are only separated by about half a game. Pelicans team who they lose, they're definitely going to be in the 10th spot. That's the highest they can be. They could potentially be out of the play-in if a couple other teams get the job done today, I believe. Or they could be out of the play-in in general. So when I think about a game like that, I think both teams will bring effort defensively, and both teams are top 10 defending the 3 so far this season. I know the teams are a little bit different now, but the last 8 meetings have stayed under this 234 number that we're looking at right now. Pelicans have went under their last 4 games, and really, I mean, nobody can score over there. If it's not Brandon Ingram, who else is putting the ball in the basket? CJ McCollum, he's the only other one who can create some offense, really, but since he messed up his hand or whatever the case was, he just hasn't been that good. So I don't trust them offensively versus anybody right now. Even this Dallas team whose defense hasn't been good. And I think they'll, at least be able to give better effort today, although they don't have great individual defenders or haven't had a great team defense so far. I look at what both teams have combined to average the last 2 weeks. It's 229 points, 5 points under what we're asked to get to today. I think the under is the right side. Also, Dallas, first road game in 2 weeks? Maybe that offense won't be looking so good away from home. Less points in this one than for me. How do you feel?
Yeah, the scheduling is bad on both sides, Ski. I mean, for Dallas, like you say, first away game in quite a while. It's a back-to-back situation for them. But how about New Orleans? I mean, the last 8 games they've played, 7 have been on the road. They come home from the 3-game West Coast swing. In general, we fade those types of teams. We don't want to play them. It happened last night, right? Philly was in a horrible scheduling spot, and they rest James Harden. However, Minnesota was off of a road swing, and it was first game back home. And guess what? Minnesota doesn't show up. So as bad as it could be for Dallas, it's probably as bad for New Orleans. Again, their schedule was just weird. At Oklahoma City, at Lakers, at Toronto, at New York, home to Orlando for one game, then back out on the road to Portland, Golden State, Sacramento. They've been all over the place over the course of the last 2 weeks. So I don't like their scheduling spot either. I especially don't like what I saw out of them against Sacramento the other night without De'Aaron Fox. I mean, for a team that's fighting and scrapping for a playoff spot, I think, you can boil it down to what you just said about them not being able to play offense. The game just got away. Sacramento can score even without De'Aaron Fox, and New Orleans can't. And when the game was close, Sacramento put on a run, and that was the end of that. And New Orleans had no answer. And that's what Dallas could do tonight, to tell you the truth. It's not that big of a road trip for Dallas. I think as Luka and Kyrie play each game, they get a little bit better together. It's still a work in progress. Tough game for me to play, Ski. There's a lot of variables here, but I think if I had to, I would try the Dallas side. I just think they're the better side right now. New Orleans, miserable scheduling, first back at the house, and just a team that can't score.
Absolutely. Saturated says, you guys suspect anyone sitting in this one? I don't see any Luka or Kyrie props. I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised if either one sits. And for the under, I'd prefer if Kyrie sits. What you just said, Rob, about the Pelicans, the Kings are the worst defensive rated team in the NBA post All-Star break. They put up 105, 108, something like that.
Yeah.
They couldn't even score against them when everybody's been putting up 130. I'm not too worried about the Dallas defense tonight. I think the under is a good play tonight. Any last words there?
No, I couldn't disagree. New Orleans can't be trusted. I think you said that already. I'll repeat it. Offensively, they can't be trusted. CJ's playing injured. Some nights he's there, some nights he's not. And when you look around, Valanciunas, if you're looking at props, I think maybe Valanciunas would be worth it because you and I run NBA tip-off yesterday, and I said that, you just take the opposing center against Dallas. It's that easy against Dwight Powell. So if you're a prop player, I would look at Valanciunas.
Good point. That's the place where Dallas has been struggling most, is protecting the paint since they made these trades. Let's keep going here. 557, 558. OKC and Phoenix. It opened Phoenix minus 11 up to 13.5. Now total open 234.5, and it's dropped a point to 233.5. Injury report for both of these teams. For Phoenix, Landry Shamet out. For OKC, SGA out. Pokasevsky out. There's two Williams, so let me make sure. Jalen Williams out. I don't feel too strong about this game. I have a system that says you're supposed to play heavy favorites when their opponent's on a back-to-back. That says you should take Phoenix, but I don't love that bet here, so I'll stay away. Anything you love in this OKC and Phoenix game?
Yeah, Jalen Williams is an important ingredient. He wasn't last night because Oklahoma City just ran away and scored 130 on Golden State. Again, just like I said with Dallas, if you're a prop player, look at DeAndre Ayton. The Oklahoma City Thunder have no resistance at the rim whatsoever, night in and night out. Last night, it happened to work out for them because Kevon Looney has a back injury. Steve Kerr decided he could use his death lineup minus Wiggins and just run with Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City just outran them. But they won't do that to Phoenix here tonight. In the back of my mind, Ski, I feel like, and I'm not in on these conversations with Monty Williams and the team, but just in the back of my mind, as thinking as a head coach, I think what Phoenix is probably going to try and work on the remainder of the season is the defensive end. The offensive end is so good. I mean, Paul, Booker, Durant, Ayton, they've got four positions where they can score tonight. SGA, they'll probably put a little bit of a target on. I kind of like the Phoenix side in this game, but Oklahoma City, such a great underdog. It's hard to bet against them.
I could agree with that. This is a game that I'm going to stay far, far, far away. Gilbert says OKC's a top 5 offense. He likes the over. Saturated saying, is Gilly going to challenge Aiden for rebounds, or do you think he can get over 11.5? Didn't look specifically into the rebound prop, but maybe go for Aiden double-double if you, or I don't know, something of that nature for Aiden. Probably will hit it. See anything else here? No, not for these games. So we'll keep going. We have two more games on the slate. I think we're making decent time. 559, 560, Chicago and Denver. Open Denver -7.5. They're as high as 9-point favorites now. Total open 229, and we've seen that drop about 4 points to 225. Injury report for Chicago. We have Javonte Green out. For Denver, it looks like MPJ is going to be game time decision, but he's likely to play here. Um, Gillespie, Najee out, and it looks like that's it for this one. Um, how I feel about this is, I think the market is, I think the market is correct as far as playing this one down to the under. Bulls are playing at the slowest pace in the league post All Star, and Denver is also bottom 10 in pace in the same span. I know Denver is really good defending the three, and I was just looking at what these teams have been averaging. Denver has been at that 229 mark the last 2 weeks, but Chicago not even making it, or not even at Chicago's games, not even averaging 220. So I agree with it coming down here. Um, I don't know if I want to get in on the ass end of the line, but the only way I can look. And as far as Denver, I just feel like as good as they've been at home all year, at this time of the year, they're probably just more concerned with, we can get in, we can get a win. Let's just focus on staying healthy. They're not trying to get in here and blow everybody out every night. Versus this, if this Bulls team is still playing for anything, 9 points is going to be too much to give them, and they've been decent defensively. So lean under, lean Bulls. Anything from you on this game between Chicago and Denver?
I think if you're a patient better ski, Chicago's showing some real trends here lately as far as just losing the rope in the second half. Last 11 games, second half betting, if you waited till halftime and faded the Bulls, last 11 games, you cashed 9 tickets. They've lost against the spread 9 of 11 second halves. So they come out pretty decent. I counted up a 6-5 mark in the first half of those games for the Bulls, including 3-1 in their last 4. And then they just fade away. So if you like in-game, maybe that's a route to go. I like Jokic for the most part with this points, rebounds. And it's this funny thing the other night, Ski, and I've been looking at his game logs the last week or so, and he seems to play these games almost like a seesaw. Come out, play all out, and then the next game kind of take the facilitator role. He takes 8 shots the other night, 8 shots from the field. That's crazy for Jokic. Not in foul trouble or anything, played his minutes, but just wasn't interested in shooting the basketball. Was way more interested in rebounding, way more interested in assists. And even still, I think he recorded near a triple-double or maybe a triple-double. I'm not sure, but it was at least a double-double. Here, I think he comes out. He's been really good against the Bulls. Just to give some points, rebounds, assists numbers here for him, 44 and 58 and 62 in 3 of the last 4 games. I think his number here tonight is 44.5. I might look Jokic. But again, I think the best advice I have when I looked over all my notes is be patient. And if that game's close at halftime or even into the second quarter, bet Denver in game because Chicago just has not played well in the second half whatsoever.
All right. I can't disagree with that. They're asking, I think somebody said something about the Bulls first quarter, but I lost that comment.
Yeah, they've been good.
Yeah. I guess we can keep it moving here. Gilbert says Denver's point total over. Bulls are Swiss cheese on defense. Let's keep going. Last game on the board for the NBA here. We have Toronto and LA Clippers, 561, 562. Clippers open -3.5. They're between 2 and 3-point favorites out there. Total open 229.5 and is sitting between that and 230. Injury report for the Raptors, they have a clean one. For the Clippers, it looks like Norman Powell will be out of this game. I'm not going anywhere near the Clippers, man. I'm done, Rob. I already didn't like the Clippers. Try to give them benefit of the doubt. They're in good situations, good spots. I'm not expecting them to win by any margin. They might have to be getting, multiple possessions for me to think about taking them. What have they won? One game since Westbrook has been over there? They're the second worst defensive rated team post All-Star break. I'm not buying what they're selling. So only way I can look is the Raptors team. I know they'll at least play defense, and they're a team that's desperate for wins as well, as far as if they want to be up there in the playoff standings. So, lean Raptors. Nervous about the under just because of Clippers defense lately. Maybe Clippers team total under. How do you feel about this game, Rob?
All right, so far be it from me. I do a lot of shows with you. I don't generally push back. I'll push back on one comment. Toronto and defense. It just doesn't go together anymore. Last 5 games, Ski, out of the Toronto defense, field goal percentage from the floor, they've allowed 52-4, 52-1, 51-2, 50.7, 50%. Over 50% or better in their last 5 games from 3. And we already know season overall stats that they're pretty poor at defending the 3 anyway, but 39-4, 58-3, 46-7, 40 and 50% from 3. So and the reason why I point these numbers out is because this morning I saw the total was rising. And I'm like, your initial inclination when you see these two teams is why would you bet over Toronto Clippers? But I think the perception that we have isn't necessarily the reality at this point in time. Toronto's not playing defense. They're playing better offense, and they're playing hard. The acquisition of Pirtle has turned out to be pretty good for them to have that guy in the middle. And with Van Vliet back healthy, the offense has run smooth. They've got a lot of options. I'm with you where the Clippers are concerned. There's just no scenario where you want to play the Clippers at this point in time. They've been terrible, given every opportunity. It's when I talk like that the Clippers come out and play well. It's been that way with that team all season long. But I tend to like over here, 229.5, because Toronto's not stopping anybody. 4th game on a road trip. And Toronto's scoring. I mean, their shooting percentages have been really good as of late, too. Back-to-back 50s. They did go over with Denver the other night. And I think prior to this, you mentioned Denver, pretty methodical offense. We know that, extremely efficient, but methodical. That game hit 231. When Russ is in the game, we know this game's going to start going up and down. I'm going to try some form of over here, Ski. I haven't decided yet exactly which way it will be, but it could be full game over just because I don't like the way Toronto's defense is going. They seem to have changed their philosophy a little bit, and they're trying to outscore you now.
I don't know, Rob. I don't know. Just the stats don't tell me that. Maybe it's the last couple of games or the last game. But when I look at what the Raptors have been doing post All-Star break, they're a number 6 defensive rated team. They're number 24 offensive rated team. That's saying that they're playing some defense. So let me look at the last 2 weeks specifically. Raptors are allowing 109 points per game. I think they'll be all right. So a little bit of a disagreement here. That's okay. We're not going to agree on every single game. Whoever you guys feel.
And real quick, Ski, what we're both saying here, I think is true because you're talking from points allowed standpoint, and I'm talking from field goal percentage allowed. They're giving up over 50% a game last 5 games in a row. So when you put those two together, it kind of means, they're giving up buckets, but they're playing slow enough to not give up points. You know what I mean? So if you want to take tempo into account here, perhaps 231 is too high. So I think that somewhere in the middle lies the truth in this one, and we'll see where this thing lands.
Good point. And the Clippers are 22-8 to the under at home, so we shall see. I think we did a pretty good job here today, Rob. I still haven't started to dig too deep into college. Was there any big college games today or any of them that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, well, you've got the opening day for a whole bunch of the power conference tournaments, Ski. Tomorrow, everything will be underway. SEC goes, but I think everybody but the SEC goes today, I think. I'll give you one real quick before we get out of here that I played that I like a lot. Nebraska and Minnesota, and I kick myself for this. They opened 134 where the total's concerned. It's up to 137.5, 138, rightfully so. The two teams combined are 13-0 to the over in their last 13 games. Nebraska's 7-0 over last 7. Minnesota 6-0 over last 6. Every one of those games found their way over 136, which is where I bet this game last night. Now it's all the way up to 138. Nebraska's just changed their whole season around. Fred Hoiberg the head coach is a guy who's known for offense from Iowa State. It wasn't clicking early. It's clicking now. And Minnesota had lost their leading scorer, Dawson Garcia, for about a month, and they couldn't put the ball in the hoop. And since he's come back, they've done nothing but play over 6 straight. So I think the numbers based on season-long reputation, but the bettors have noticed it because, like I say, they've bet it up from 134.5 to 138. So Nebraska, Minnesota, neutral floor, up and over the total.
All right, good stuff. And coming up on the time-wise, so I'll ask you, Rob, if there's anything you would like to promote, and if there's a game that we talked about that you like more than the rest.
All right. So for the regular listeners, I get repetitive here, but I'll promote wagertalk.com. If you're not currently a member, just go over, put your email address in, and you'll have access to all the free media content that we produce every single day over at wagertalk.com. You can also get my selection packages over there at wagertalk.com. College basketball up and available right now. NBA also up and available right now. A couple of best bets among the bunch. So go ahead and visit frequently, because these games in college basketball just go nonstop. Day-wise, from like 12 noon here east to 2 o'clock in the morning. So keep checking back frequently, because I am one who adds on as the day goes on, as the day goes along. Really quick, as far as what we talked about, Ski, I like Boston team total the best out of what I said, over 120 at home, a place where they really score points. Portland, I think you said, has been allowing 120 plus on average over the course of the last, week or 2 weeks. It seems like it's been a long time. So I'm going to play Boston over 120 tonight, team total.
All right, good stuff. I can't talk you off of that because I like the over and the full game there. For my best bet for the show, I will go with Dallas and New Orleans. I disagree with the market. I think this one is going the wrong direction. I don't think it touches 230 points. If you want to know why, we talked about it during the show. So appreciate you, Rob, for taking the time to come talk out some games with me. Appreciate you guys in the chat for taking the time to come listen and watch and sharing the info that you guys have and some plays that you guys like. We will be back here again on Friday, and we'll catch you guys then. Just good luck on all your action.